What you want to do is get your oven nice and hot. I like to run around 500. I've got a pan on there. Start at 500, then back it off to about 425. You want this dough, this pie crust to hit that so it's really nice and hot. It'll help that bottom to really get the crust well. Otherwise you risk sogginess. So get your oven high and then back it off to about 450. If you don't have pie weights, you can use beans. Okay, we're going to line that and do a blind baking. We're going to make our crust, put it in there. We're going to put it in the freezer for about 10 minutes so it'll hold its shape. We're going to pull it out, line it with aluminum foil, put our pie weights in and bake that for about 15 minutes. Then remove the pie weights, remove the foil, bake it for another 10-15 minutes till it's nice and crispy, not overdone. Okay, I've got 2.25 cups of flour here, and I'm going to get my shortening and my butter out, and we're going to cut that in. I've got about a quarter of a teaspoon of salt, 2.25 cups of all-purpose flour. Don't be intimidated by making pie crust, okay? It's not that difficult. All right, I've got my quarter cup of shortening in there, and I've got a quarter cup of butter. And what I want to do is just use 2 knives and just cut that in. First, I'm going to cut up the butter, and your butter should be as cold as possible. And you should plan on handling that as little as possible, okay? What we want to do is cut this up and get this all worked in. All worked into flour as much as possible. Okay, we're going to get this cut down to very small little bits, like pea size. Okay, this is what's going to allow the crust to be very flaky, having all these fats worked into it. Okay. So take your time. Just use 2 knives. They also sell a pastry cutter. Okay, just take your time like this and work it in real good. If you don't think you have enough fats in there, add a little bit more. Okay, nothing wrong with a little bit more, but I find about a quarter of a cup of each. So you have half a cup of fats, the butter, okay, and the butter and the shortening does a pretty good job. So I'm going to continue cutting this in. I'm going to get some ice water too, and I'm going to, in a minute, make sure your hands are really washed well. We're going to get in there and work that fats so that they're like flakes. Okay, I'll see you back here in a couple minutes. Alright, I've cut that in about as much as I can with the pastry knife. Now it's time to get your hands in there and feel those little bits of fats and spread them out. Just take them between your thumb and forefingers and spread them out. Okay, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but this is the best way to get an even distribution of all of those fats and to get that worked into that flour really well. Do it quickly. You don't want these to melt. Okay. The trick to a flaky crust is making very sure that you work your fats quickly and keep them cold. Okay. So one little rub with your thumb and your forefinger. Get them spread out really well. You can see the flour is already starting to want to clump together. Okay, and that's a good sign that all of your fats are being worked in really well. That's exactly what you want. You want a super even distribution, okay? I'm going to get a little bit of ice water now. 1 or 2 cubes. This will cool down very quickly here. Okay, we'll let that sit there a minute. Keep working that a little more. Okay, and I'm really happy with the way that, super happy with the way that looks. So good. Okay, so now I'm going to create a little well at the bottom and pour about a tablespoon of water in there. And your hand's going to get a little wet. It's okay. It's not going to hurt you. You want to start working that around so that catches that dough. You want to get one more tablespoon in there of that water. And working it in, and what you're doing is actually helping that dough reach a point where it's going to stick together when you roll it out, and the ice will keep it from melting. So here goes the third tablespoon now. Okay, and work that together really well. What you're going to have at the end is something that wants to come together and hold together really well. Okay, you're going to have really excellent dough, and you can just you acquire an eye for this after a while of how much to add. Just make sure to keep the water moving so it's not in one spot. Okay, and there's a really beautiful pre-dough that's going to be ready to be rolled out. You can pop that right down on the counter, put that aside, and then you can just gather that into a ball. You want to knead that a little bit, okay? Don't be afraid, knead it, okay? Knead that a little bit so that that's going to hold form. And this is your final chance to distribute all those fats, okay? You don't want it to get warm. Okay, but you want to make sure you have everything there, and you want to shape that into a ball. Okay. All right. Then once it's in a ball, you want to get it into a disc shape. Okay. Remember, they're going to want to. It's going to want to stick. So now you're going to take a little bit of flour. Okay. I'm going to throw some flour on the counter here. All right. And we're going to commence to rolling this out. Try to keep the flour out of any cracks that open up. Okay, turn it once in a while. Just keep flouring it on the bottom, okay? But try to keep the flour out of the cracks on top. I'll also take a little bit and add it here. I'll have some flour on the side in case I need to push some in. Okay. What I'm trying to do is keep it off of the top here, okay? Remember to turn it once in a while, throw some more flour underneath of it. All right. And commence to just rolling this out, okay? This is the fun part here, okay? Remember, lift up once in a while, put a little reservoir of flour on the side and just throw some under there. Okay? Just keep rolling out that dough, and don't panic. If it opens up a little bit, just close it up. All right, a little bit of moisture helps on that a little. Okay. We're going to keep rolling that out. Make sure to get to your edges too, so it's not all thick in the middle here. Okay. Keep turning it. All right, just like so. That's exactly the way you want it to, exactly the way you want that to look there. Okay. Put our pan, our pie plate on top a little bit to see where we need to do a little bit of work. Add a little bit here and there, just to get that evened up, just like so. Okay. That's going to be good. What we can do is cut about a 1 inch or so, 1.5 inch border around, just like that. Okay. All right. Put anywhere you think it might be needed down there. And don't worry about it. Don't freak out about anything that's cracking or anything like that. We can always fix that later. You can lift this up now. Do a little crack repair right there. All right, then all we have to do is now get this rolled on to our rolling pin here. Okay. Get this rolled onto our rolling pin, just like that. Okay. We can move that right into the position where we need that to be, and voila, guys, look at that. How gorgeous is that going to be? Isn't that nice? Some people don't like a thick pie crust. I like a little thicker. It's like a nice pastry dough. So why in the heck not on there, okay? Kind of squeeze that up to the edges. All right. And then all we're going to do now is take it and fold it under at the edge there, okay? Take it and fold it under, just like so, all the way around. Okay, fold it under all the way around. Okay, if you have an area that's a little light, just add some of your excess dough to it. Okay. Now here's the part where you have a little bit of art coming in, and you want to get that so it's even on there. And isn't that looking good already? Look at that, perfect. Now some people will leave a pie like that, and I like to go ahead and take my thumb like this, my forefinger like that, and give it a nice fluted edge. You can do that as deep or as light as you want. And it just gives a beautiful detail, because remember, people eat with their eyes. Okay. Just like that, I'm just going around, fluting that edge. Rain, rain, go away. Don't come again another day. Okay, I'm just about done. Okay, and it's so easy to make a nice fluted edge like that. Okay, isn't that beautiful? All right, it's going to go into the oven. Excuse me, into the refrigerator for about 15 minutes. I'm going to get a little bit of lunch. You can go ahead and kind of prick the bottom to let the so it doesn't rise up. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stick this in the freezer, and I'll see you guys in about 15 minutes. Well, it doesn't look like I pushed the record on that last section, but there it is. I've pulled it out of the freezer there. It was in there for about 15 minutes. It's now sitting in there. I put the pie weights in and the foil, and what that does is help it hold its shape there and keeps it from getting mushy and going down into the middle. So we'll see you in about 15 minutes. I sat it on a baking tray there. We'll see you in about 15 minutes. We got 425 here. Okay, the timer went off. It was about 15 minutes. So you got to be really careful with this part, because you're going to be removing these ceramic balls here, which are hotter than the devil. You're going to be pouring them back into your container here. Okay, so be very careful with that. So we'll let them sit off to the side. You can see our pie crust is held in good shape. Now it's going to be back into the oven for another 15 minutes or so. And when it comes out, we'll start making our what? Our filling, Missy Jen, huh? Woo! Our chocolate cream filling.
Yummy!
Woo! All right, so I'll go over the ingredients for that in a little while. When I see you guys back, it's been a busy day here in the kitchen, but we're getting a lot of stuff done, so I'm glad you're along. All right, our alarm just went off. It's looking pretty darn good. Want to make sure that's a thick crust pie, so I want to make sure it's like a pastry. So we want to make sure that that's really going to be crispy when it comes out and flaky. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Sit the camera down. I got something better than sitting the camera down. I've got Missy Jen here today, so thank you, honey. We're going to go ahead and
my pleasure.
Turn off the heat here. We've got the convection oven, fan and light. We'll go ahead and pull that out. You can take a look at how beautiful, lightly brown, very lightly brown.
Check that out.
It's going to be delicious. So we're going to let that sit down and cool. And that's going to slice really well tomorrow. As that cools, it'll tighten up and get crispier. Right now, if you were to eat it, you would have the sensation that it's soft and it's more like a dough. when it cools down and it's at room temperature, it will have that nice crumbly texture that you associate with a pie, you know, a good pie crust. So it's not perfect in terms of its shape, but it's pretty darn good for homemade, and I'm satisfied. Missy Jen's licking her chops. Can't wait till tomorrow for that. So, okay.
I'm
Let's
salivating.
go ahead and sit that on the side. We'll let that cool down a bit. We'll go ahead and get the ingredients for making the chocolate cream. We're going to use 4 egg yolks. You see there. This is 12 ounces of sugar. Of chocolate, semi-sweet baking. We're going to use 1/3 of them. We're going to use 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, a teaspoon of vanilla, and 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And we should be good to go. So it's going to be pretty easy to make the filling, put it in, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, it's time to make our cream filling, our chocolate cream. I have 3 cups of half and half. I have 4 egg yolks. I'm now going to use 3/4 of a cup of sugar here. Put that in over here into our bowl. Okay. All right, make sure you get all of that goodness out of there. I'm going to also use 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead. I want to take my chocolate. Let me get some of this stuff off of here. I'm going to be using cornstarch too. I want to go ahead and add, I think I'm going to put maybe 3 cornstarch. I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. I want to make sure, darn sure, that it thickens up. And if I perceive it's too thick, I can always add a little bit of milk or half and half and whip it like crazy to make it very light. I like it to be very light. I now have about 5 ounces of chocolate chips here. I put them in and give them a melt. In the meantime, I'm going to start whisking this. My whisk out. The trick is you want to combine this really well here. Okay, then we'll put it to the heat. Some recipes will go to great lengths. Start with separating this and do this first. I've always had great success putting it all together, and anything we have that's a little too much for the pie crust will always make a very good pudding. Okay, so you want to whisk this real well. Okay. And I'm going to start putting the heat on this. Okay. Work that very low. Okay, and I'm just going to continuously whisk that. Very important to continuously whisk that. All right. You got them sort of melted. I'm going to turn this off the heat till I get this all ready to go. You want to make very sure that you don't scorch anything. Okay. Very important. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and give these about 1 more minute here. These should be fully melted and ready to go. Right. Definitely make sure that you keep stirring here, and I'll try to position this over here. There you go. So you'll get a bit of a better view. And turn the heat on very low, the lowest. You need to have a lot of patience for this. I sit this here so it's an easy run to get it into the pie shell. Okay. Make sure you just stir, stir, stir. You can have a little test just to make sure that's going to be sweet enough. I think that should be fine. Maybe one more little hint of a little more sugar here. Probably bring it up to about almost 1 full cup in there. Okay, so our chocolate is ready. I'm going to go ahead and add that in now. You can see how beautiful that looks. We'll go ahead and add that all in. Okay, add that all in, and we'll go ahead and we'll whisk. And go ahead and we'll whisk that like crazy now to get that all blended really well. Okay, once again, I've got this on low heat. That's really gonna be that's gonna be awesome. I'm treating myself. Good, good, good. That is really good chocolate. It's hard. Okay. Alright. It's got the color that you traditionally associate now with the chocolate cream pie, and when this reaches that certain flash point, it will begin to set, and then we'll want to really vigorously whip that. We're going to want to remove it. I'm going to want to get a little bit of butter here. Grab a little bit of butter because I'm going to put about a tablespoon of that in. That'll help smoothen that. Once I pull it off the heat, that'll help make that really smooth. It'll make it very silky. Okay? So notice I'm continuously stirring here. Knife so I can cut off what I'm going to need there for that butter, and that'll be fine. Okay? I'll also ready my spatula. So I'm going to need that too to get that ready. Okay. So gradually the temperature is rising here. This will be a chocolate extravaganza. Okay. As long as you keep whisking, everything will be good. Make sure you can see that, okay? You can already feel it sort of pre-thickening here. Boy, that tastes good. Boy, those flavors are really coming together now. I feel like it's really just starting to want to kind of thicken up a little bit. Should be okay. I might want to add one more half of a teaspoon of the cornstarch there. Bring it up better to be, I'd rather use like three and a half tablespoons of the cornstarch. And this is going to hit that flash point in just a minute or two. Once you start to see the little wisps of steam coming off that, we're getting close. So, okay, keep at it. Give you a good workout too. All right. Like a very thick hot chocolate right now. I can't even tell you how amazing this smells. And you're watching this in real time now, and this is getting silky smooth. In a minute, it's going to get a little difficult to whip because it will have reached the set point here. See, it's starting to bubble a little bit. Okay, and I feel like it's starting right about now. And I feel that's really starting to get wonderfully thick right there. You want to keep beating that really rigorously. Okay, look at that. Look at how that's set now. I want to turn the heat off, remove it, drop our butter in it, and really go ahead and beat this super rigorously now. This is what will give it the ultimate lightness that you want. Unless you want a very heavy, very dense. If you want something that's light as a cloud, this is the point where you really have to whip it right now. Okay, hope you can see that real well there, and that is just absolutely like silk. So I'm just going to town on this right now, and I'm very satisfied with that. So into the shell she goes. Look at that. Just look at that. Wow. I think I even impressed myself with that one. Alright, I didn't even get anything all over me. Be careful, don't lick it, because this is really, really hot here. So you want to smooth that out really well, okay? Put that on the side. Now what we want to immediately do now, make sure you get your pot into that sink really quick. We want to get a piece of plastic and put that over it now, okay? So I'm going to grab that now. A piece of wax paper will do fine too. Okay, I'm going to put that right over top, and what this will do, it will keep that from developing a skin. All right, well, some final words on our pie, and we'll wrap it up today. Well, you know what? It's time to wrap it up. It's about 4:15. We've been going at this since about 11:30, but we got a lot to show for it. We've got a beautiful stew here today. All we have to do is put that on the heat tomorrow, and that's going to be some kind of excellent eating right there. As you guys can see, that's glorious. It's going to be fresh. It's going to have great color to it. It's going to have great eye appeal. Also knocked out some bread dough. You can already see how fluffy that is for tomorrow. That's going to be amazing. And finally, a beautiful chocolate cream pie. So I want to thank you guys for being along on the chocolate cream pie. Always a lot of fun, and we got some bread to go to tomorrow too. All right, thumbs up are appreciated. Love you guys. Thanks so much.